Okay, so for starters here, my goal is to just basically get the rotted part of the subfloor out first. And you can clearly see this part of the floor along the wall, as the floor is much darker where the cabinets were sitting. It's basically that L shape there. Um, the floor was actually so soft that the dishwasher had actually fallen through the floor and it was resting on the floor joists. And just kind of seeing that made me wonder even more than before how people could possibly have been living in this environment. The floor was so soft in these parts that I was literally able to just kind of pull it out with the crowbar and break it apart with the screwdriver. It was completely rotted. Once I got all of the saturated part of the floor out, the rest of it was basically going to need to be cut out. And please ignore the fact that I'm absolutely struggling to cut through the floor with my circular saw. The blade came pre-installed, and after verifying it was installed per the instructions, keep in mind they were poorly translated instructions. It was brought to my attention by my dad that the blade was actually installed backwards. So yeah, I actually managed to burn up a saw blade, but luckily I had an extra, so I got it to work at that point once I had the extra one installed correctly, and I decided to cut the floor out 8 feet from the sink, so that way 3 sheets of new OSB could fit perfectly because they come from the factory in 4 feet by 8 feet sheets. So it was just going to make measuring a little bit easier. I had my dad cut out more of the flooring later to make room for the third piece because I was busy doing other projects here and there. And again, just in case you're curious, the reason that it's smoking so bad when I'm cutting through this stuff is because, yes, the blade is installed backwards. Still haven't realized at this point. I actually didn't realize until I had cut out most of what I needed to get cut out, and it took quite a few passes to get through, which is why it was such a struggle. Not going to make that mistake in the future, but hey, trial and error. I apologize for this clip here. It's a bit dark. I was working later than I wanted to, and since I was cutting into the wall to get the drywall out, I had the power off just because I wanted to avoid any potential problems with me cutting a live wire. So at this point, I determined that it was going to be a good idea to start removing the drywall. I knew it was pretty badly damaged and soaked as well, and definitely needed to be replaced. So my process here was just measure 4 feet up from the floor, and again, this is because it comes in 4 by 8 sheets from the store, so it's going to make measuring and cutting to size a bit easier. And I just scored a line all the way across the wall and started breaking it out in pieces. Here you can see what I thought was a hole, but later on I decided it was much larger than that, and it is from where mice had actually chewed through the exterior sheathing. So the house had been completely exposed to the outside for who knows how long, which wasn't helping the condition of the interior of this wall. Seeing just how bad the condition actually was and how moldy the situation was with the drywall, I decided to buy a respirator for my own good, and the insulation was pretty much like not worth saving. It was just too disgusting, so I end up cutting most of it out, and I'm gonna replace it with some nice clean insulation.
Il y a le naturel parfait. Le bonheur de deux individus arrive à être confondu.
Oh, écoute, t'exagères quand même.
Here's a close-up of the extent of the exterior damage done by the mice. The white plastic that you see there is the exterior vinyl siding. It's totally exposed, that's the sunlight coming in, and there's also a little hole up there under the window that they probably used as their escape route. I recruited my dad to help me with the finer details, since obviously I'm an amateur and he's going to do a much better job than I will. So basically what he did, you can tell here that the wall's been opened up a little bit wider and the floor has been cut to size a little bit better, and he's actually added in blocking to the floor joists, which is going to give support to the new subfloor, and he's also blocking in the holes to the outside from where the mice got in. In my next video, I plan to have the subfloor replaced in the kitchen with the new OSB, and also new insulation and drywall installed. So basically my goal for the next video is to have the kitchen polished up and ready to go for the new floor. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.